Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, April 20th. Coming to you live from Seoul, I'm Kim Mo-gen. The World Health Organization has decided to extend the state of global health emergency over COVID-19 by 3 more months. Amid ongoing efforts to stop the fourth wave of the pandemic, South Korea confirmed 549 new COVID-19 cases Tuesday. Though cases have inched down, concerns remain due to continuing infections with various variants. And NASA successfully launched its mini helicopter Ingenuity above the surface of Mars on Monday, becoming the world's first powered controlled flight on another planet. Our top story this morning: amid a continued rise in cases and deaths from COVID-19, the World Health Organization has decided to extend the state of global emergency by another 3 months. The Global Health Agency also called for equitable distribution of vaccines, saying that could bring the situation under control within months. Lee Kyung-eun starts us off.
The World Health Organization has decided to extend the state of global health emergency over COVID-19 by 3 months. The Director General, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, made the announcement at Monday's briefing based on advice from the COVID-19 Emergency Committee. The committee agreed that it is still an extraordinary situation as the virus continues to spread and interfere with international traffic. It also warned that the pandemic will not come to an end unless COVID-19 testing kits, vaccines, and treatments are fairly shared among countries. The Director General particularly emphasized the importance of collective vaccination efforts and the rewards such efforts may bring to the world.
We have the tools to bring this pandemic under control in a matter of months if we apply them consistently and equitably.
Global climate change activist Greta Thunberg, joining the briefing virtually from Sweden, called the vaccine nationalism of rich countries a major obstacle to achieving an equitable distribution of vaccines.
It is completely unethical that high-income countries are now vaccinating young and healthy people if that happens at the expense of people in risk groups and on the front lines in low and middle-income countries.
To overcome this reality, the committee advised countries to promote global solidarity by supporting the global vaccine sharing platform, the COVAX facility, and engaging in technology transfer. It also recommended that WHO accelerates the evaluation of COVID-19 vaccine candidates and continues to monitor potential vaccine safety globally. The next meeting of the committee will be held in 3 months. Lee Kyung-eun, Arirang News.
The head of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says COVID-19 vaccines are working as intended. She added the rate of infection among people who have completed their vaccination stands at 0.007%. This comes as the world continues efforts to expand the number of their vaccinated population. Kim Hyo-sun has a story.
As the U.S. speeds up its vaccine rollout, its health authorities have confirmed fewer than 6,000 cases in fully vaccinated Americans. That represents just 0.007% of the 84 million Americans who have full protection. Speaking at a briefing Monday, the director of the U.S. CDC explained that despite those infections, of the people who contracted the virus more than 14 days after receiving their second shot, none of them died or became seriously ill. But at the same time, she added that such figures could be underestimated. The chief of the CDC also welcomed news that the vaccine rollout is being expanded to people over the age of 16 across all 50 states.
One of the most important things we can do to get back to doing the things we love is to get vaccinated. I am so thrilled that today all people age 16 and up are eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine, a tremendous step forward in our efforts to end this pandemic.
The announcement is being seen as a significant public health milestone for the Biden administration. The UK, which launched the world's first mass vaccination program, says some 20% of the country's adults now have full protection, having been administered with both shots. Its health ministry adds that over 10 million people have received their second dose, describing it as a terrific milestone. India, which is grappling with a massive surge, announced Monday that everyone above the age of 18 will be eligible to receive COVID-19 vaccinations starting May 1st. Describing this as an accelerated phase 3 strategy of its COVID-19 vaccination program, the Indian government explained this will help the country deal with record daily surges. Kim Yo-san, Arirang News.
And now to the latest on the coronavirus situation in South Korea, which is trying to fend off what could become a fourth wave of the virus. The nation reported 549 new cases on Tuesday, which is a little under the last week's average. Of the new cases, 529 were local and 20 were from overseas. One more person has died, raising the death toll to 1,802. Meanwhile, a total of more than 1.6 million people have received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine as of this morning. President Moon Jae-in will take part in a multilateral meeting on climate change hosted this week by U.S. President Joe Biden. According to the top office, President Moon will deliver a speech on Thursday at the Virtual Leaders Summit on Climate. He will highlight the country's commitment to climate action and ask for active participation in the P4G summit that Seoul will host in May. President Moon wants to increase cooperation between Seoul and Washington on the climate front and solidify South Korea's position as a leading nation on the issue. The European Union has expanded its sanctions against Myanmar's military leadership, targeting 10 more military officials and 2 military-controlled companies. Lee Seung-jae has the story.
In response to the coup and the suppression of peaceful protests in Myanmar, EU nations on Monday placed further sanctions on the country's military leadership. This time, they target 10 military officials as well as 2 military-controlled firms. In a statement by the Council of the EU, the individuals targeted by sanctions are all responsible for undermining democracy and the rule of law in Myanmar and for repressive decisions and serious human rights violations. It added the 2 targeted companies are large conglomerates that operate in many sectors of Myanmar's economy and are owned by the military, which provide revenue for it. According to Germany's Foreign Minister Heiko Maas, the goal is to force the military junta into talks and bring them to the negotiating table. Despite various sanctions, the international community has been unable to get the military junta to stop its violence against protesters. The EU's latest measures come on top of sanctions adopted last month, which targeted 11 high-ranking Myanmar military and administration officials. In total, the EU has sanctions on 35 officials and 2 companies. Meanwhile, the head of the military junta, Min Aung Hlaing, is set to attend the ASEAN summit in Indonesia this week, his first known foreign trip since he seized power in a coup on February 1st. The National Unity Government, made up of pro-democracy politicians, including ousted members of the parliament, are calling for international recognition as the legitimate authorities, requesting an invitation to the ASEAN summit in place of the military leader. The invitation of Hlaing has been heavily criticized, as it means the military government is being recognized as the official government. The security forces have killed at least 737 protesters and bystanders since the coup. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
NASA has reached another space milestone on Monday. NASA's Ingenuity Mars helicopter became the first aircraft in history to make a powered, controlled flight on another planet. Han Sang-woo has more.
Mission accomplished. On Monday, NASA successfully launched its mini helicopter, Ingenuity, above the surface of Mars in the world's first powered, controlled flight on another planet.
This flight control confirming that we have EVRs from Ingenuity. Ingenuity is reporting having performed spin-up, takeoff, climb, hover, descent, landing, touchdown, and spin down.
The test flight took place over 170 million miles away from Earth on Jezero Crater. There, the 1.8-kilogram robotic aircraft rose about 3 meters, hovered for roughly 30 seconds, and rotated before landing. Although the gravitational pull is much weaker on Mars, the planet's atmosphere is just 1% as dense as Earth's. so Ingenuity flew with rotor blades 4 feet long that spin faster than is necessary for an aircraft of its size on Earth. Engineers also equipped it with 2 cameras, one for navigation and the other for looking out to the horizon. Before liftoff, the helicopter was first carried to Mars on NASA's rover Perseverance, which touched down in February after a near 7-month journey through space. The U.S. Space Agency has likened the $85 million experiment to the Wright brothers' flight in 1903, even marking the occasion by attaching a tiny swath of wing fabric from the Wright brothers' original flyer under Ingenuity's solar panel. Its success means Ingenuity will undertake additional longer flights in the weeks ahead. NASA hopes the project will pave the way for advanced aerial surveillance of the solar system in the future. 한성우, Arirang News.
Hate crimes left many Asian Americans feel exposed to risks. One place where people feel most vulnerable is the subway. And that's why one New Yorker started a fund to reimburse cab rides for select groups. Our Kim Do-yeon got to learn more about the movement directly from her.
28-year-old dentist and Instagram vlogger Madeline Park no longer feels safe taking the train from Brooklyn to Manhattan for work.
But I didn't realize I would feel so terrified in the train because of all the news articles and videos that I was seeing and all the crimes that have been happening in the subway.
She started resorting to taking cab rides for her commute, but she quickly realized there are people that can't afford to do the same.
You are a dentist, right? Like, it's not like you can't afford Uber rides when you really need it. But where did you get an idea where there might be people that need support for Uber rides?
I'm fortunate enough to do that, but I kind of thought about all the years that I've been a student in New York City. I've been a student here almost like 7 years, and I know what it's like to be broke here. You don't take a cab unless you really, really need to.
She used $2,000 of her own money to create a fund for anyone who needed their taxi fare reimbursing. She told her 50,000 Instagram followers about it, and quickly, donations followed. She started accepting funds on April 2nd, and so far has raised over $125,000. That money has gone to help people like this social worker who had been threatened in the past.
I feel less anxious. I feel more safe in terms of being able to go out. If I know if something's like, if I can't really afford this ride, I'll probably be able to reach out to her.
The team of Madeline and 10 of her friends have given out more than 1,100 reimbursements while making sure the funds go to the people who need them most. But around $100,000 of the donations came within the first 2 days, and with the rate of donations slowing down, she says she will run out of funds to help people in less than a week.
Just in general, for the Asian American community here, it's a message of hope. I wish everybody were able to see the messages and the notes that were flooding in through the Venmo donations. It was people of all ethnicities.
From California to Canada, people have been reaching out to her, asking for advice to start similar projects in their own cities. Donations are accepted through Venmo and Stimulus.app, and more information is online on the Instagram page Cafe Maddy Cab. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
Marking the 41st National Day for People with Disabilities here in South Korea, Seoul Metro unveiled its plans to update its mobile app so that people with disabilities can use the subway more easily. The app will alert passengers when their train arrives and can also guide them to the nearest exit and restrooms. The updates will take effect in the first half of the year. Seoul Metro will also continue to install more elevators so that they are available at every subway station. In 2015, only 87% of the subway stations in Seoul had elevators, but now that has risen to over 92%. Some stations are also providing video phones for people who use sign language so they can get help if needed.
Good morning. We are already into the last spring seasonal term. It's Kogu and it's going to start to get much warmer from today. A gradual rise in morning temperatures as the week goes on, and the highs will be unseasonably hot at 28 degrees Celsius tomorrow here in Seoul. Sunlight will be pretty strong too, as UV levels will be high across the country. And levels in southern provinces will be very high today, so don't forget your sunblock and sunglasses before heading out. Meanwhile, regions in the east are on high alert for potential wildfires and under a dry weather advisory. So fire danger levels in the east coast are extremely high. Please be mindful of that. Checking on the highs now, the south will rise to the mid-20s again this afternoon. Chuncheon, Daegu, Daejeon, Gwangju all getting up to 25 degrees Celsius under mostly sunny skies with decent air quality nationwide. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the weather conditions around the world.
And that will do it for us at this hour on Arirang News. We'll be back at noon Korea time, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
Is this the kind of future you're dreaming of? This may be